And this is going to be recorded because I'm going to send a replay. I know we've had a lot of people sign up, so I'm going to send them a replay after, and you'll get the replay as well. If you don't want to be seen, just keep your camera off throughout the session. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if anyone else is going to join us, they can hop on in. How's everyone feeling? Feel free to unmute yourselves, or if you just want to engage in the chat, feel free. But how's everyone feeling today? Stop sharing this really quick. Okay, can you all see me and my screen? Clear-headed, love it. Okay. So thank you all for joining me. I'm very energized to offer this intro class. This is actually my first time holding space for an intro class. Usually I just teach level 1, 2, 3, and then a self-discovery cohort. But I felt very called to offer this class for those that are interested in learning more about Reiki, what it is, to learn more about myself in case you are interested in joining a cohort or a class, or even just, receiving a session. So thanks again for joining. And, again, just really to introduce you to how transformative the energy is, and how when we really tap into this energy, Reiki, we truly can just step into our power. We remember who we are. We come home to our most authentic selves. We can embody ourselves and feel safe in doing so. And we really awaken this inner power that's always been within us our entire lives. It's just that we're not taught how to tap into this energy. We're not taught how to, step into our power, and we're not encouraged to be our most authentic selves. We've been conditioned and programmed since we were children. And so waking up to the energy that's within us really just you realize how expansive and limitless you truly are. So I'm here to share my personal experience with you all, how I came into alignment with my purpose. And I would love to just, hold space for y'all to ask questions. If you stick around for the end, I'm going to lead a guided meditation where I'll be sending you Reiki, and you'll also learn a powerful grounding Reiki technique that you can do on your own time. But before we get into it, before I introduce myself, if you're here, whether it's to heal yourself, maybe again, like I was saying, you want to start holding space for others to heal. Maybe you feel called to start a business in energy healing, or you want to integrate this in your current career or profession or business that you have. Um, no matter what you're here for, you're in the right space. And if you don't know why you're here, I'm sure that it'll be illuminated today. If not today, it will unfold for you. But before I get into all the Reiki stuff, I want to share a little bit more about myself, why I am here, what led me here, and just a little bit about my own personal experience. So who am I? I'm Soul. I consider myself a multi-potentialite, multi-dimensional being. I have so many passions, so many gifts. And growing up, I knew this. I just did not know how to channel my energy correctly. I always felt weird and wrong for being passionate about many different things. And just from the family that I came from, it was, not encouraged to dabble in all of these things. They wanted me to, you know, grow up in church, go to school, get a college degree, especially in the medical fields. And they just wanted me to live a life that, met their expectations. However, it was hard for me to conform growing up. Right now, I consider myself, very balanced. I have my soft and gentle side, but I'm also very fiery and fierce, which I feel like when you can balance both ends of those, you have a really good balance of energy. I'm a proud mom of two beautiful boys and also a loving partner. I'm a certified Kundalini and Usui Reiki teacher and practitioner, a sound therapist. So I do sound baths. I'm a self-discovery meditation guide, very passionate about my creativity. I like to write and direct music visuals, and I like to make music, beats specifically. I'm also the founder of this platform. It's a creative wellness platform called One. And my mission is really to create a more interconnected and holistic, peaceful world by creating sustainable solutions that address humanity's challenges. And right now, where we're at is just we have a virtual platform where we offer classes like this, whether it's yoga, meditation, work-life balance courses, you name it, different types of classes that can connect humans in the wellness and creative space. But I wasn't always, well, to me, I wasn't always this cool. And when I say this cool, meaning I wasn't really in alignment with my purpose. Again, I grew up in a household, a Filipino household where, my grandparents lived with us. They're very Catholic. And so they pushed a lot of, religion onto me and my brothers. Um, and they were just pretty hard on us growing up. I grew up with a lot of like abandonment issues, depression, anxiety. My dad left at a young age. I was about like 5 or 6 years old. So I had a mom who worked 3 jobs usually. So she was like always gone. But then, me and my brothers were pretty much raised by like my grandparents and aunties and uncles, and so I had a lot of like abandonment issues and just feeling like I wasn't worthy, like I wasn't loved. Like, where are my parents? They don't love me, even though my mom is like working her butt off to provide for us. But at such a young age, you don't really understand that all. Um, so I grew up always kind of just feeling like I didn't really belong, insecure. And so as I got older in school, that manifested into a lot of anxiety, not being able to focus in school, but also just not being interested. I felt very disassociated. And then once I got, to college, it just continued to like expand and grow for me. And it wasn't until, I was in a very toxic relationship all of high school, going into college. Um, to where finally like I realized like, wow, I'm manifesting a lot of my external reality. The relationship I was in, we fought a lot. It just was super unhealthy. I was constantly imagining us getting into really bad fights, and then boom, we're in a bad fight. And it wasn't until I really I got into this phase where I'd get in a car and I'd be like, what would it feel like if I got into an accident? And I just kept asking myself that over and over again. Every time I got in the car, what would it feel like? What would happen to me? Would I like be awake? Would I actually like feel it physically? And so one night, my boyfriend and I got into a really bad fight, and he broke off my door handle. And I was like trying to figure out how I was going to explain it to my grandparents because at the time they were paying for my car. And so that was like very stressful for me. So the next morning I had to go to work. I was like a store manager at the mall. I'm from Ohio. And on the way to work, it starts like downpour raining. And there goes the thought of like, what would it feel like if I got into an accident? No idea why I would even have these dark thoughts, but it just kept coming up. And so literally as soon as I'm getting on the freeway, I start hydroplaning and my car just, I completely lose control. Got into a very bad car accident. However, I was not affected physically at all. My car spun out so many times, hit the guardrail near a bridge, just kept gliding out. No one hit me. And the initial thought after that happened, my car shut off. I stopped in the middle lane. And the first thought was, I need to get to work. I need to open up the store. If I don't open up the store and no one's going to open up, we're not going to make any money. So it's very like materialistic, like 3D realm, like you have to work, work, work. Not even like, didn't call the police. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I got in an accident. I'm okay though. I don't even get out the car to check to see if it's all good. Literally just turn my car back on and I start driving. And as I'm driving, I noticed, and again, it's like downpour raining, like you can barely see ahead of you. It's like dark out from the clouds. It's just like lightning, thunder, you name it. And as I'm driving, I noticed that there's two cars on each side of me, and then there's a car behind me. And they drove with me like the entire way to work. I'm 25 minutes away from my job. As I'm driving and pull off of the freeway and getting closer to my job, I notice the same car is behind me. So at this point, I'm figuring, okay, they're gonna come talk to me and ask if I'm okay. You know, maybe they saw the accident. And so I pull into the mall and there's no parking structure. It's just like a huge parking lot. And so I park the car and get out immediately to go talk to the person, whoever was behind me, um, to let them know I'm good. And as I'm doing that, like the car is like nowhere to be found. When I say like I'm like looking and I'm like tripping out because I'm like, okay, I feel like I would have definitely seen them drive off. Like there's no way that from the time I parked and got out of my car that they would have been able to drive off. I would have seen them on the main street. And so they were gone. So instantly I was like, oh my goodness, I was protected. Like definitely had to be an angel. Like someone was sent to me to get me to work. And so at that moment I go to look at my car and the back of my car is completely like smashed in. Like I don't have a back of my car. Like my brake lights weren't working, don't have brake lights, like the window, like the back windshield window thing, whatever, completely gone, shattered out. And I'm like, there's no way I should have been able to survive driving 25 minutes in treacherous downpour rain without anyone hitting me, especially without having brakes. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I was so protected. And so in that moment, something just like woke me up. And it was like days later where my best friend at the time introduced me to the law of attraction. And he's like, hey, you know, it really sounds like you've been attracting all of these things to you. You're like everything that you've been thinking of, you're putting that frequency out there. And he's like explaining all of this to me. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I did not know we had the power to do that. And so then I went on this whole journey of like spirituality and waking up to energy and just, you know, self-care and self-awareness. I'm doing more yoga and meditating a lot of like new age spirituality stuff. I'm buying, you know, sage and crystals and incense and all of that stuff. However, I'm not really doing the deep inner work. Um, but it was a good starting point for me. And, you know, I'm out of that relationship. I have more time for myself, but I'm still dabbling in, you know, other toxic relationships. I'm partying a lot, still depressed, anxious. You know, I think at that time I was prescribed like Adderall, but also Xanax and other anxiety meds and didn't mix well. My health felt just all out of whack. And I wasn't going to the root of why I was the way I was or why I was experiencing the things that I was experiencing, why I felt this void within myself. And it wasn't until I took psychedelics with my brother and completely had this ego death and spiritual awakening at the age of 21. Um, and I realized like, wow, I've been living almost like a lie. And I feel like we've been lied to. And I remember going through my purse looking for, I think it was like chapstick, and there's all this material baggage in it, like receipts and just junk and a bunch of makeup and everything that you can think of was in my bag. And I just literally like started throwing it everywhere. And I'm like, what is this for? I'm like, none of this even matters. And I'm like, we're working so hard just to die. We're working just to survive. No one's even happy. No one is free. I'm like, what is all of this? And in that moment, I just knew I'm like, I'm here for a reason, and it's to end human suffering. So many of us are suffering because we don't know who we are. We don't know the power that we hold. And we've just been indoctrinated and we're being fed a bunch of medicine and horrible foods, and we're not taught about the energy that we hold and how we have the power to heal ourselves. So I went on this whole spiritual awakening. I ended up dropping out of college my senior year. And I was actually in a psychology class where my professor jokingly was like, I find it very crazy that all of you pay us thousands and thousands of dollars to teach you knowledge that you already have within you. And for some reason, when he said that, even though when he was joking, for some reason when he said that, I was like, you know what? This is my time to leave school. I was in school for fashion, and it just didn't feel like it was fulfilling me anymore. And so I was working in New York for Fashion Week. And as I would travel back and forth to New York, I just kept asking the question, why am I here? Why am I here? Like, what am I actually here to do? There's something bigger than me. There's something bigger than all of this, and I'm ready to tap into it. And as I started asking more questions about life and my being, um, the answers started flowing in. And so I got this vision of you're here to connect humans and you're here to raise the vibration of this planet. And at that moment, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to do it. And so I just like got this other vision of like, you're going to start throwing events and bringing people together and connecting them through art. And so I did, but there was still something missing. And so I asked again, I'm like, really show me what I should be doing. And that's when one day I'm laying in bed. At this time, I'm already like 22, 23, and I'm pregnant with my first son. And a Reiki ad popped up, and I had no idea what Reiki was. And so I clicked it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna show up to this class. And I did, and I was the only one that showed up. And I'm forever grateful that I did show up because I did not know that it was going to change my life. And in that class, we learned about our energy and how we have the natural ability to heal ourselves. I tapped into my power. I stepped into my power. And from there, things have never been the same. And this was in 2017. I was attuned to Reiki level 1. I didn't go up to level 2 until 2020. And during that little time, 2017 to 2020, I spent a lot of time getting to know myself, really getting to know myself, getting to know the roots to all of my blockages, to why things were the way they were, to who I actually am, why I'm here, where did I come from, tapped into past lifetimes. And it was the most liberating, like, and life today is still liberating, but during that amount of time of just really focusing on myself and that inner healing, it was so liberating. And I felt like I just broke free from something. And I realized like, wow, I've been carrying the key to my cage this whole time. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm the victim and everyone's doing this to me. And I wanted to blame everyone for my own suffering. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I was the one who was supposed to free myself. And so I just knew you're here to guide others in doing the same. I'm not here to heal you. I'm not here to heal anyone, but I'm here to remind you that you have the power within you as well. And that we all hold our own key to our own cages that we feel stuck in. And so now I'm holding spaces for many people, hundreds of people, whether that's through a sound bath, through a Reiki session in my Reiki classes and cohorts. And it's been super empowering. I know that it's going to continue unfolding, and it's just been beautiful to witness so many people transform their lives simply by tapping into their energy and, giving themselves permission to actually go to the roots of their problems, whether it's their limiting beliefs, their fears, the blockages, the childhood trauma, past lifetimes, and all of that, and just actually releasing it and stepping into their truth and living their truth and being themselves authentically. So thank you for letting me share who I am and how I got here. And I'm very energized to share what Reiki is, and how it's also transforms some of my clients and students' lives. And so is there anyone in here that has not received Reiki before, or you're like completely new to this all? Feel free to unmute or you can drop it in the chat. Cool. So Isaiah. All right. So Reiki is simply, well, let me move this out the way. Okay. Reiki simply is universal life energy. It's the most simplest concept, although it feels complex, it's very simple. It's just universal life force energy. So it doesn't matter what religion you are, where you come from, location-wise, geographically, what you believe in. The energy is just something that's been within us all along. It's life force energy. Reiki is the Japanese word for spiritual energy. And Mikao Usui, he was a spiritual teacher. He rediscovered this system. Well, he like turned it into a system of just, I don't even want to call it a system, but a practice of tapping into your natural energy to heal on all levels. So the energy heals on all levels, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Um, and it harmonizes us, mind, body, spirit. And you may experience Reiki through gentle touch, hovering hands, or maybe just through meditation. If you're not doing an actual practice, again, the energy is just always flowing, and it's whether you want to tap into it or not. But what the energy does is it brings a lot of our blockages to surface so that way you can actually release them. So we have our chakra system, our energy centers, which are all associated with different aspects of our lives. So for example, your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is right above your belly button. That's our center for our willpower, our identity, our self-confidence, self-esteem. It's also linked to our digestive system. So if we have blockages there and say maybe you just lack self-identity. Maybe you're not confident. Maybe you don't have the willpower to take on your day. Maybe you're always highly caffeinated because you just don't feel like you have energy every single day. That can mean that you have a blockage in your solar plexus. So what the Reiki does is simply just break through all of those energy blockages, really to dissolve them. It comes up to surface so you can actually release them. And when we release our blockages, we come back into alignment with our most truest, our natural self. So then we're healthy, we're manifesting, we're abundant, we have money flowing in, we feel safe in the world, we feel like we belong, we're very rooted. And so at the very least, Reiki is super relaxing and just brings us back to brings us back into alignment. And again, it stimulates the body's natural ability to heal. So a lot of times, I mean, you look at healthcare right now, a lot of times, you know, the current healthcare system, it treats the symptoms. They don't really go to the root. And I know that from my own personal experience when I was suffering through anxiety or depression, you know, they never really got to the root of why I was experiencing those things. Instead, they prescribed me medication. I also have a brother who has gone through, you know, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, like a bunch of different things that he was diagnosed with, but never once did they ever try to get to the root of it. Instead, they prescribed him a lot of medications. So instead, when we heal holistically, we don't only look at the physical symptoms, we go to the root of why has that manifested? Because a lot of times things that come up to surface emotionally and mentally, that's like the signal for us to look inward and be like, okay, I have a blockage somewhere in my energy channel, there's a block. And if we don't pay attention to it, so say stress, for example, if we don't pay attention to our stress levels and we keep showing up to a job that's making us want to pull our hair out, it's making us depressed because we don't feel fulfilled, it's taking up all of our time, we're not getting rest, and you just keep ignoring it and you're ignoring it and ignoring it for years, eventually it's going to manifest into something physical. So one of the common illnesses today right now is cancer, and cancer is caused from stress or emotional weight. And so when we don't go to the root of why we have these problems, it's almost like it's always just going to be there. And then we continue to sweep it under the rug and continue to just treat the symptoms rather than actually go to the root of it. So Reiki really helps us get to the root of our energetic blockages. And it also it transcends the boundaries of the physical. So we nurture our emotional selves. We get mental clarity, our spiritual well-being. And it's really this journey of connection and oneness and realizing that we're all one and we're all connected in this human experience. Unity consciousness, it goes on and on. But at the very least, say you go to get a Reiki session, it's very relaxing. Like it's just gentle energy. It's almost like as if you were to go to get a massage. So it really brings rejuvenation, inner peace. It allows you to tap into your purpose, your authentic self. So that's a little bit about what Reiki actually is. And again, some other benefits from Reiki. So other than accelerating your body's natural ability to heal itself. Reduces stress and anxiety. It removes energy blockages, improves focus. So if you're someone that has a hard time focusing at work or school or wherever, tapping into Reiki, whether you're giving yourself Reiki or you're going for sessions, it can really help with your cognitive functions. Better sleep, heals past trauma, it detoxifies your system. So when we're releasing those blockages, it's almost like we're going through a detox. So you're releasing toxins every time you give yourself Reiki, or every time you go to a session, you're releasing toxins out of your system. It increases your vibrational frequency. So every time you're giving yourself Reiki, your frequency is elevating. So if you're someone who feels like, oh my gosh, I'm so stuck, I can't manifest, like I lack money, it's hard for me to pay my bills, it's most likely because your frequency is vibrating lower. Every time you raise your frequency, and it doesn't have to be through Reiki, it can be through, physical exercise. It can be through going to meditation classes or doing yoga or just eating healthier. Every time you raise your vibration, you attract things of that vibration, kind of like what I was talking about with the law of attraction in the beginning of the class. So focusing on raising your vibration, you're going to attract better things into your current reality. So if your vibration is a lot, for example, my clients, I've had clients who are stuck at jobs that they don't like. And it's because they're not taking care of themselves. They're stressed, so they're attracting a lot of things that they don't want. They're feeling stuck. But the more and more we do sessions, the more they're awakening to their power, the more they're remembering, okay, this is why I'm actually here. Oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about this. Or, they're starting to make time and space for themselves outside of work. And so their vibration is raising. So then their lifestyle feels better because they're doing that active work. And then maybe, they get to a space where they can finally quit the job and then they attract a better job. Or I've had clients where they actually go and start their own business because they tapped into their soul purpose. So it's all about, vibrational frequency, just reestablishing your spiritual connection to your higher self, to spirit, or whoever you believe in. And it's also a really good complement to medical treatments or other therapies. I have clients that have been diagnosed with cancer, and, radiation from treatments are, it's really strong on their body and it creates a lot of toxins within their system. So the Reiki can help release those toxins and also create more relaxation for them. So those are some of the benefits of Reiki. And so what is Soul Reiki? I created an inspired extension of the Usui Reiki system. So Usui Reiki system comes from Mikao Usui, who discovered Reiki. And I'm going to share a little bit about the history in a moment. But my extension of Soul Reiki not only touches on the system that was founded from Japan, but I added additional insights from my own personal experience through practice and just living my life. And I created courses out of it and cohorts to help people come back home to their most authentic self. So the guidance from my classes really empowers you to not only cultivate self-awareness by understanding your own energy centers, but it helps you go to the roots of your blockages and return to loving yourself and fulfilling your soul purpose. If you don't know what that is, I help you I guide you to rediscovering that and just really creating space for you to heal holistically and teaching or guiding you to also hold space for others, because it just starts with one person, and then that one person inspires everyone else. So if you show up and really love yourself, you'll inspire everyone around you to love themselves. And it really does start with not only self-love, but just embodying your authentic expression. So if you hear me talking about Soul Reiki, or if you're interested in taking my courses, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that's where we dive deeper with Soul Reiki. And some of my pillars are, and this is what we discover and integrate through Reiki in our daily lives, is aligning with the principles of knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, healing ourselves, and being ourselves. So it always starts with, to love ourselves, we need to know ourselves. So once we know ourselves, we can fully love ourselves. And once we love ourselves, that's when we can actually heal. And when I say heal, I don't mean to fix or to change anything. It's simply to just embody who we are and to accept all aspects of ourselves, to release what's not serving us, to keep showing up for ourselves. And that leads us into being ourselves, embodying our authentic selves, our truth, living our truth, speaking our truth. When we can speak and live our truth, we also hear our truth. So those are my pillars that are the foundations of my classes, and a little bit about the history. So this is Makao Usui. So again, Reiki, because it's universal life energy, it's been around since the beginning of time. However, Mr. Makao Usui, he was in Japan. He was born in 1865, and he rediscovered the energy. He rediscovered life force energy and what it was. He was a Japanese Christian educator in Kyoto, Japan at the time. And he began studying from some of the greatest spiritual teachers. And during that time, he discovered that there are ancient symbols and mantras, and meditations to where we can tap into our energy to actually heal ourselves. And so he began just learning from these educators, but also learning through his own experiences about how this energy can really heal. And he realized, like, why aren't we taught this? And I put this quote here that was actually on his memorial stone, translated obviously, in quotations: "This is surely a secret process to bring a good fortune and also a miraculous medicine to remedy all kinds of diseases." And it's so true. Like, we're not taught this, we have to rediscover it. And so he created this whole system to pass on to other students and masters, to continue allowing it to trickle down so that way everyone can be empowered that, wow, we have this innate gift, this energy to really bring healing and good fortune into our lives. And so one of his students actually was the first one. She was the first one to bring it to the US. Her name was Hawayo Takata, and she brought it here in like I want to say 1930. It's like 1938, and she brought it to Hawaii and she began teaching students. But her way of teaching, she didn't have them taking notes. She didn't offer a manual. But she passed on, or she did attunements, meaning like activating the energy to several masters. But once she passed away, it was the students that were continuing to pass on all of her teachings. But a lot of people got skeptical here, in the westernized society. They're like, what is this? Does it actually work? There's nothing on paper. So a lot of her students actually went back to Japan, and learned, the systems and the teachings from Mikao Usui. Were able to put it into, words and text, creating manuals, and then they brought it back. So it's a fairly newer, practice. However, again, the energy has been around forever. It's just we weren't taught how to, work with it. And, no matter what religion you are, no matter what spiritual practices you practice, um, there's so many different ways to tap into this energy or to work with that energy. There's so many different modalities. However, Reiki has definitely resonated for me. And in the system of Reiki, there are 5 elements that you learn. And one is developing spiritual and mental focus. And then it's techniques and meditations, hands-on healing, mantras and symbols, and then reiju and attunements. So spiritual and mental focus are learning. It's really about precepts and like kind of principles, guiding principles, which we're going to talk about in today's class, on how to just live this holistic and balanced, joyful, peaceful life, and how to be present in our own being. And then the techniques and meditations are just ways to generate our energy and to expand our energy and to ground, and to, channel the energy through us through meditating. And hands-on healing is offering, healing using our hands, whether it's to ourselves or to others. The mantras and symbols, there's different symbols and mantras that go together to invoke different energies. So for example, chakure is the first symbol that you would learn in a class. And, whether you're drawing the symbol in the air or whether you are just visualizing it in meditation, what it does is really brings grounding energy to you. It generates your energy and helps that expand. If you were doing Hanshazation symbol, that's to help send Reiki to different times or spaces. So for example, if you want to heal your childhood, or you want to heal a past life, you would meditate or actually visualize the Hansha symbol, or do the chant. Reiju and attunements is activating your energy. So again, everyone already has the energy within them. You have energy flowing through you. The Reijus and attunements simply are just kind of like waking you up to it and helping you raise your vibrations. That way you can vibrate at the frequency to where the energy can flow freely through you. So I don't know if you're someone who ever feels energy through your hands. Maybe you feel a vibration, or maybe you feel subtle energies around. Maybe you've always considered yourself empathic and you can feel the energies of other people, or you take on energy from other people. A lot of that is just, when we're finally aware or know how to work with energy, we can protect ourselves from holding onto others' energy, or we can, learn how to work with our own energy. So the Reiju is the Japanese practice of, it's like the Japanese ritual of waking up your energy. And then the attunement is more westernized. In my classes, I teach the Reiju. It resonates more with me. It's very much about intention and trust, which really is, that's all what Reiki is. It doesn't matter, what you do in your practice, as long as you set the intention for the energy to flow and you trust that it's flowing wherever it's intended to, it's already happening. So for me, I always do the Reijus. And as I mentioned before, this is developing spiritual and mental focus. So Usui precepts, a precept simply is just like a ruling. It's a principle or a rule directing a particular course of action or conduct. So Mr. Usui, Dr. Usui, he showed us that like the outcome of working with Reiki, working with the precepts can actually show us what the outcome can be from Reiki. And I'm going to share what the precepts are with you in a second. But when we practice Reiki, we start to feel less angry. We're more true to who we are. We're less worried. We're at peace. We're more compassionate. It really helps us remember our true essence. And they're listed in a very specific order, and it reflects the wisdom that the more we let go of anger, worry, and fear, the more true to our way and our being will be. And so the more true to our way and our being that we are, the more compassionate we'll eventually become. And so if you haven't dealt with your own worries or your own fears, then it may be very hard or difficult for you to be compassionate all the time. And so the original Usui precepts are: do not bear anger, for anger is an illusion. Do not be worried, because fear is a distraction. Be true to your way and your being. Show compassion to yourself and others, because this is the center of Buddhahood. But the precepts are updated as far as how they're written. And so now you'll find it a lot of times if you look up the precepts, it'll say, for today only, do not anger, do not worry, be grateful, be true to your way, and be compassionate to yourself and others. But I updated my precepts for my classes because I'm big on language. So instead of putting the words angry or worried out there, I just reworded it and created affirmations. So the first one being, I am peaceful. So this precept really invites us to cultivate inner peace and tranquility in our thoughts, emotions, and actions. So when we choose peace, it's so much easier for us to navigate through challenges with serenity and calmness. And we promote inner harmony, not only with ourselves, but the way we interact with others. And when we're patient, this precept invites us to cultivate, patience in every aspect of our lives. And when we embrace it, again, navigating challenges with calmness and resilience, we also can trust in the way that things unfold for us in life. So if you're going through a very challenging time, being patient really allows us to just trust in the divine and knowing that it's all for a purpose, everything's happening for us, and just really allows us and gives us a space to be present. I am grateful. So gratitude as a transformative practice that shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. One of the most powerful ways to tap into the abundant frequency is through gratitude. It's something that I practice every day. Every day when I wake up, I go through the list of everything I'm grateful for, or at least, whatever I can touch on. And it could be the biggest thing or the smallest thing, for the pillow that I get to rest on, or for the food that I get to eat. And I notice that every time I feel that sense of gratitude just for whatever it is that attracts more into my present reality. I am honest. So being honest, this precept really encourages you to speak and act authentically, showing up as your truest self. And when you align with your words and actions and your values, you build trust and strengthen your connections with others, not only others, but also yourself. You foster genuine and meaningful relationships. You attract everything that's for you. It wasn't until I chose to be my most authentic self when I started attracting everything for me. It was hard for me to be my authentic self, especially when I dropped out of college because my family didn't understand it. They thought I was on drugs. They thought I was going crazy or mental, because I went through a whole shift. Why are you dressing that way? I stopped dressing up and wearing as much makeup. I stopped straightening my hair every day, and they thought something was wrong with me, but instead I was just showing up as my most authentic self. And although it felt lonely at first and like I was, just by myself and in the dark, I kept going and going and going, and eventually I attracted all the people that loved me and love me and see me for me and hear me for me. I attracted all of the resources I needed to continue on this path. I attracted so many opportunities and experiences, and it wasn't until I was my most authentic self, until I showed up honestly and as me, I was attracting everything that wasn't authentic. And so, showing up as your most authentic self is super important. And then the last one is I am kind to myself and others. So kindness, begins with self-compassion. Extends outward to encompass all beings. So this precept really reminds us to just treat ourselves with compassion. That's where it starts. When we can treat ourselves with compassion, you also receive compassion from others. And when we're compassionate towards ourselves, we can be compassionate towards others and respect others. And it's so needed in the world right now. We're going through such a huge collective shift. So many things are just breaking down so that way we can rebuild them back up. And that's another reason why I feel called to offer spaces like this, is because a lot of people are waking up to what's going on in the world. A lot of us have been sleeping for a long time, and now it's like the alarm clock is going off for a lot of us, and the snooze button isn't working anymore. And so a lot of us are waking up to our power or to our purpose. And so, again, love for ourselves, that's the very first start of being able to step into your power and into your purpose. So there are 3 different degrees to Reiki and level 1. So if you're interested in taking a course, level 1 is really about self-discovery. It's about remembering who you are, diving into yourself, activating your energy, raising your vibration. You learn how to give Reiki to yourself. You learn how to give Reiki to others. You learn how to give Reikis to animals, plants, food, your water. And in my courses, I integrate a lot of energy, a lot of work on the energy center, so your chakras. So we really dive deep into knowing our energy and the blockages and the roots to all of our blockages, and how we can shift our current realities by reprogramming our subconscious mind, with more supportive truths for ourselves. And then level 2 is really more about like expansion. So this is where you raise your vibration again, and you start working with others. You start offering Reiki to others. You start learning about professional treatments if this is something that you want to do. And again, you don't have to, offering Reiki professionally doesn't mean that you have to do one-on-one energy healing sessions with someone. If you want to integrate it in a current profession or business, like I mentioned before, you can do that as well. So you really learn about that. You learn about the mantras and symbols, how to work with them, how to meditate with them, and you learn additional techniques. And then level 3 and master is about empowerment. So it's empowering you to empower others. So you learn how to teach Reiki, you can give attunements or reijus to others. You learn a bunch more techniques that are very powerful in your practice. And it just continues on this expansion and self-discovery journey. So my level 3 and masterclass, it's actually a 3-part series. And each like each level, it just so much unfolds. It's like we're onions and layers peel back and just continue to peel back. And then the road before us just continues to unfold and it gets longer. And you realize like this journey really is like evolving. And it's just beautiful to be able to not only witness my students or my clients evolve and transcend and ascend, but also just to see that I like my own growth within holding these spaces as well. So it's just a really beautiful thing to be able to experience. And, you know, one of my missions and goals here during this human experience, this lifetime, is to integrate this into, you know, school systems, into healthcare, creating more holistic approaches to just all systems. And you see a lot of things changing. You see the healthcare system changing, especially after the pandemic. A lot of people are starting to seek alternative medicine or alternative healthcare practices, alternative ways to just heal, different modalities, to be able to heal holistically. You also see school systems changing. A lot of people are starting to homeschool, or you see that, you know, the curriculums aren't really serving the youth anymore. We don't learn about ourselves in school. So how can we, you know, reform education to where we can learn about ourselves? Because I think that's the very first thing that we should start with, is knowing who we are, knowing our energy and how to work with our own energy. And yeah, so again, it's all things are shifting fast, and you definitely will see Reiki, even if you don't hear the word Reiki. It could be prana or just universal life energy. You're definitely going to be hearing more and more people talking about energy and working with their own energy and just taking their power back and um, caring about themselves holistically on all levels. So if you're ready to start your journey of self-discovery, holistic healing, and fulfilling your soul's purpose and embodying your authentic self, some of my offerings, I'm going to go over these really quick before we do our meditation. Um, you can find all of this on my site. I'm going to send, I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to send all of this information to you in an email. But my self-discovery course is definitely perfect for someone who wants to get into like really, really dive deep, to release your blockages, your limiting beliefs, to really get to know who you are and your soul purpose. It's a community container, so you're in a cohort with a small group. So it's really nice to be in a supportive space to where you can connect with soul family. You get everything that you would in a Reiki level 1 and 2 class. You get certified, so you also learn how to offer Reiki professionally or to integrate it into your business. You do inner child connection, higher self connection. You tune into your intuition, how to offer readings or just to read energy. And more importantly, it's really a journey of self-healing and just holding space for yourself. So it's all about you, but then you also learn how to hold space for others. And this cohort is 777, but I also have payment options, and all of my offerings are very, very accessible. So if you know you're going through financial challenges right now and this is something that you feel called to do, just please email me and reach out. You can respond to the email I send you, and we can work something out. I'm very flexible because, you know, if you feel the calling, I would love for you to answer it. And if there's a will, we will always make a way. And then the Reiki courses, I'm offering, just if you're like, I don't want to go too deep into all of the self-discovery stuff, but I do want to get certified. So you can just learn how to offer or to hold space for yourself as far as like self Reiki treatments and to offer it to maybe friends and family. I'm holding a Reiki level 1 course coming up in Los Angeles in person, so June 15th. And then there's a virtual one on June 30th. And then the other levels, the dates are to be announced. So there's a lot of like practicing, reflection, journal prompts on the website. You can learn way more about everything that's in here. And so before we get out of here, I know we're running out of time. So if you have to go at 4 o'clock or wherever you are in the world, so if you have to leave by the end of this hour, I will send the replay. But if you are ready to get into the meditation, feel free to go ahead and get cozy. And in the meditation, I'm just going to guide you. So all you have to do is just follow my voice and set an intention to stay open to Reiki and to receive. You can lay down, you can sit down. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share my audio. Can someone give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear this? If you can hear my music. Perfect. Okay. So all right, so go ahead and close your eyes. Begin connecting with your breath. Allow yourself to be present. Don't worry about what you have to do after this, what you forgot to do before. Simply allow yourself to just be here. Go ahead and take a deep inhale through your nose. Fill up your belly, fill up your chest. And a gentle, expansive exhale out of your mouth. Allow your body to be held in the surface that's beneath you. Slow inhales. And an expansive exhale. One more time, slow, deep inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentle exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue breathing at your own rhythm. Soften your jaw. Release any tension in your forehead. Wiggle out tension or heaviness in your ears, your nose. Unclench your teeth. Allow your breath to clear any tension in your throat. If you have any heaviness on your shoulders, allow it to be lifted. Just blow it all away. It's not yours to carry right now. If you have any heaviness on your heart, just allow it to be lifted. Take your breath down your arms, down to your fingertips. Relax your hips, your pelvic area, your glutes. Take your breath down your legs, relaxing deeper and deeper. Wiggle out tension in your ankles, your feet, your toes. And now I want you to begin visualizing a cord coming out of your root. So the base of your spine, or it could be coming out of your feet. And visualize this cord going deep into the earth. Begin to notice what this cord looks like. What does it feel like? Maybe it's like an umbilical cord, or maybe it's a root. And this cord is where we're going to release any tension, blockages, any energy that's not yours, anything that's not serving you. And so now I want you to begin visualizing a ball of light right above your crown. Beautiful ball of light. Maybe it's white or maybe it's golden, whatever resonates with you. Now allow this light to go in through the top of your crown, the top of your head. Let it pour down into your body. Let it fill up your body. Notice what it feels like. It's healing energy, this light. And on your next exhale, go ahead and visualize this light expanding into your energy field, your auric field, creating a protection bubble around you. And now for a few moments, just be and allow this light to clear any of those energies, the blockages, any tension. You don't have to think too hard about what these things are leaving you, but simply just allow it to flow down the cord and into the earth. Let the earth take it and cleanse it. Maybe these things go deep into the earth and are planted into something beautiful to grow in love, as we always want to transmute our energy into something beautiful and positive. And as you're doing this, I'm sending you Reiki. Stay open to receiving. So when you're ready, I want you to drop the cord, detach from it, allow it to fall deep into the earth, to Earth's core, so the earth can cleanse it. And bring your awareness back to the light that's surrounding you and all within you. So let's go ahead and seal the energy by slowly taking a deep breath in through your nose. And on the exhale, just let go, feeling gratitude for everything that you released today, for all that it served. Another slow inhale, and on this inhale, go ahead and breathe in that light that's surrounding you. Breathe it into your heart space. Feel love and gratitude for showing up for yourself today. And on the exhale, allow that light to expand out of your body again into the space that you're in. One more slow inhale, breathing in that light back into your heart. On your exhale, send that light out into the world. Allow the love within you to radiate and shine. Go ahead and take one more inhale, and at the top of this inhale, we're going to hold our breath for 4 seconds. So take a slow, deep inhale in, and hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and sigh it out. Let it all go. Return to your heart space, honoring yourself, knowing that you're worthy of being seen, being heard, being felt. You're worthy of showing up as your truest self. You're so loved and divinely supported. I see you, I feel you, I love you. Thank you so much for sharing space with me. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly begin to return by making slow, gentle movements in your body. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready and take all the time that you need. And whenever you're back, if you can, just drop something in the chat so I know that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. And so that's a Reiki grounding meditation that I like to do. I do it often. If you need some grounding, if you feel heavy from, energy from throughout your day, or you just feel like you're carrying weight from whatever it is from, you can visualize that cord going into the earth and visualize light just washing it away. Allow that energy, the blockages to leave you through that cord. Allow the earth to cleanse it, plant it into something beautiful, seal your energy. So thank you for doing that meditation with me. Does anyone have any questions about Reiki, about the meditation, about any of my courses? Feel free to unmute or you can drop it in the chat. And I am going to leave here just a few testimonials that some of my students have left and how it's transformed their life. It's been beautiful to be able to witness all of the transformations and all of my students and just clients, and everything that they've been going through and how much they grow simply just by tapping into who they truly are and making that conscious decision to heal on all levels. Um, so again, if you feel called to take a class or even just doing a session with me, I will send links, but I'm leaving the floor open for any questions. And if you don't have any questions, you can give me a
Hello.
thumbs up and change. Hey.
Hey, I got a question. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted I wanted to know, in regards to the healing for the cohort, is it all done like are all the practices done online?
Yeah, everything is virtual for the 5-week cohort. But I also do offer opportunity. Are you in LA?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I do offer like in-person practices. So I do like Reiki shares. I also host like sound baths and stuff to where I'll invite some of my students to come volunteer. You could practice on others, but I'm always like available for in-person stuff as well. But the virtual 5-week cohort as of right now is all of the sessions are virtual.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? No questions? Is there like a membership or we can pay for individual sessions? For Reiki sessions, so I do offer individual sessions, but if it's something that you want to do like often, then I do bundled sessions. So I'll send the link for my Reiki sessions as well. So you can see. So I offer virtual and in-person. The in-person are a little bit more expensive just because I integrate sound healing. And then the virtual ones aren't as much, but they're super powerful as well. So I do both.
Excuse me, I had another question.
Hmm.
Does the cohort offer the Reiki certification?
Yeah, so the Reiki cohort, you get certified for level one and two. So anything that you would learn in just the level one or two classes or like the regular certification courses you get within the cohort.
Okay.
It's just like a deeper dive into like doing more inner work. So if you take just the level one class, like we're not going to do like inner child connection, the higher self connection, like soul purpose stuff, the limiting beliefs, like identifying that type of stuff. We do a lot of like self-reflection in the cohort and journaling, and we do a lot of sharing in the space as well. So um, the cohort is pretty much, it's just like a deeper dive from the regular certification courses.
Is it like the same type of like learning experience as it would be in person?
Yeah, so the only difference with the in-person is that you have space to practice on each other. But again, with the 5 week cohort, during that time, there's usually always an opportunity to practice, like whether it's at one of my sound baths or I'll do like a Reiki share to where you can
Okay.
actually practice. Yeah.
Okay.
I personally recommend the cohort. I find it super transformative, especially because you have more time to integrate everything that you're learning. So it's like each session is only 3 hours. And so you can take that information, actually like integrate it and process and have a whole week to practice or, to reflect even more. And then with the certification course, it's just a 1 day. So it's like 8 hours. But again, everyone has their own intentions. Like for someone who's like, oh, I don't really care to do all of the deep dive, like the inner work stuff. I just want my certification so I can like help my grandma, then I would recommend maybe just doing a certification course because it's really just focused on like Reiki. I've heard the term sound bath a lot. What is a sound bath? Sound bath is it's energy healing. So for my sound baths, I have crystal sound bowls. So sound is a very powerful modality. Each like instrument, each note holds a different frequency. And they all resonate with different energy centers within our body, so different chakras. So during a sound bath, it's a meditative experience. You pretty much just lay there, and then for me, I have my sound bowls. I have like drums and chimes and rain sticks, and you just get to meditate. I guide everyone into a meditation, and you just hear me play my instruments, and it really like brings up a lot of blockages within your system. I also infuse my sound baths with Reiki energy. And then again, a lot of times my students are there to offer hands-on during it. So it's a really powerful way to release your energetic blockages to come back into alignment as well. And it's super, super relaxing. And yeah, you go on a journey for sure. That's what a sound bath is. Do you have many bowls? Yeah. I actually have, so my crystal bowl set I have for every chakra. So I have 7 bowls, and then I also have my Tibetan bowls for every chakra. And yeah, there's different sizes. The bigger the bowl is, like the louder the frequency or the louder the resonance is. And yeah, they can have different frequencies. And we learn this in the cohort as far as like frequencies for the energetic body, and what each frequency does. But my bowls are 432 hertz. So that brings balance on all levels. But then I also have some bowls at other frequencies for like emotional healing, stuff like that. And I'll actually probably be offering a sound healing course soon because I get asked a lot for that. Any other questions? And here's some of my links, but I will also send. Do you ever mix Reiki with crystal bowls in the same session? Yeah, for sure. So I send Reiki from a distance when I'm doing my sound bath. And then again, like I was saying, some of my students will actually go and offer hands-on during my sessions. Um, or if it's just me, sometimes I'll save space at the end. So it's beautiful because again, like I said, with Reiki, once you are like certified and stuff, you don't only have to do one-on-one like healing hands-on sessions. You can literally integrate it in anything. I have students who are yoga teachers, they integrate Reiki in their practice. I have a student who does hair, she's a loctician, and so while she has her client in the chair, she's also sending them Reiki as she's working with their hair. I have some students that make candles or herbal blends and they infuse the herbs or the candles with Reiki. You literally like you name it. I have students that offer just animal Reiki. Like you literally can do anything. When I first started with Reiki, because I'm from Ohio, it's not as big there. I was wrapping crystal jewelry and then I would just charge the crystals with Reiki. So it's pretty cool to be able to integrate it in anything that you do. Any other questions? Thank you. I know everyone tells me to record more like meditation videos. I only have like a few. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that. And I never thought like growing up, I always like hated my voice. I thought it was so annoying. But now I love my voice, so I appreciate that. That's another thing. You can like do meditation videos and infuse Reiki and upload them to YouTube or just that when I first started my practice, when I moved to LA, I was offering meditation classes at a cannabis temple and then I was just infusing Reiki and going around offering it at the end. Yeah. And also in the classes, you'll learn how to like guide your clients or whoever you're offering Reiki to into meditation. Um, kind of like what I did during our short meditation today. And yeah, you'll also get to practice guiding, whoever else is in your cohort or class into meditation. Any other questions before we get out of here? And again, I will send everyone the replay once I upload it. So you can always look back on it. And then I'm always available for, if you need questions. If you go to my website, you can always book like a 15-minute call with me if you have like further questions that you can think of. And we can explore those together. But if no one has any other questions, I will let y'all go and hope that not hope, but trust that you will all have a beautiful rest of your day and a fruitful week ahead of you. And yes, I will definitely send you an email with, all of this stuff again and links that you can click so you can learn more. The sites definitely have way more information about, each of the offerings. So look out for that. If I don't get it, I'll get it to you tomorrow for sure. So have a beautiful evening, and I'm trusting that I will cross paths with y'all very soon, whether it's in the virtual space or in person, and would love to stay connected. And thank you so much for showing up, and I hope y'all received something out of this. Have a good day, y'all.